thank you so much for joining again. This is Driving Connections, and I'm your host, Subi Ghosh, Executive Vice President at Dealer Authority. And today I have my partners in crime with me. I have Erika Sims, who is our Director of Search, and Christine Plunkett. I get confused and say the wrong last name all the time. You're still a newlywed in my book, who is the Director of Dealer Strategy. And both of these amazing women have about over a decade of experience in the automotive side of things in so many different ways. Erika, you worked with your parents or have seen them work with managing a dealership, and then also in plenty of different social media companies from KPA, Digigo, and so forth. And Christine, you spent 9 years at Checkered Flag and then 3 years at another dealership before that. But at Checkered Flag, you were kind of in your own little bubble in advertising and marketing, so you kind of see both sides of it too, even before you came over to Dealer Authority. So I thought my little partners in crime and I could get together to talk about marketing, more of the basics, and then some more advanced stuff, challenges, frustrations, evolution of marketing, things that I think that everyone in automotive should be aware of or talking about. And then we're going to make a series out of this. So we're going to continue this conversation as we go. So thank you, ladies, for joining me.
Pleasure.
Happy to be here.
I hope that introduction was good enough for how much I think the world of you guys and what you know and what you bring to the table. And one of the things that I really like is jumping on a call with you guys and just talking about the things that we find as joint passions, right? Marketing as a topic is something that we could talk about for a long time, the three of us. So marketing, Christine, how do you feel like it's changed for automotive since the time that you started to now?
I mean, I'm dating myself here when we talk about changes because I did get in at the time of billboards, newspaper, a lot of money in newspaper, obviously TV, which hasn't gone away, radio, which is still happening. It still blows my mind, all the people that still listen to the radio when you can just listen to your own music that you like, but you do hit people on the radio.
Yeah.
But that was it. It was just traditional methods, and digital was, the internet's a fad. It's going to be gone soon. We're not going to worry with learning how to sell cars on there. Then I guess it's not a fad. It's not going away. So we need to figure out how to get someone to talk to these shoppers who want to talk to us on the internet. This is genuinely how my very first marketing role came about. I was just selling cars, and they said, people keep sending us stuff on the internet and about our cars, and we need somebody to talk to them. There was no one calling or emailing internet leads, but they just had a website because they thought they were supposed to. So yeah, we're going way back. And that was my first dealership. I said, well, I'll talk to them. I had computer classes in high school, so I know how to type a little bit. And I used it a little bit in college. I didn't own a computer at this time, but I could figure out how to do things on it. God, I sound like an 80-year-old woman. I swear it wasn't that long ago.
It really wasn't. That's the crazy part. It's evolved so quickly, and we're talking about how long ago this was, and people coming in to automotive probably don't realize how huge of a difference it is even 5, 6, 7 years ago to now. So that keep going.
Well, yeah, and then I actually read an interesting thing about it, and I wish I could think of the great word they used to describe the adaptation of new technologies and how much more quickly it happens. From radio to TV was a really long time. From TV to computers was pretty long. From computers to mobile devices, very, very quick, and so on and so forth. And as new technology rolls out, we adapt it so much more quickly. And so it went from slow rolling into new technology to just being bombarded and needing to learn it as quickly as we could and never being able to really catch up at the dealer level, even with attempts to go to all the conferences and follow all the blogs and forums and see all those people that are shouting, this is the new thing, try this. It was really hard to keep up, and it still is. If you don't have the right partners in place, it's really, really hard for a dealer to sell cars and do the work of managing a store and managing the people and working the numbers and keeping the lights on, and then also the giant task of keeping abreast of everything they need to be doing and trying. Trying to do that yourself is impossible. And I use the word tuition because that word was passed down to me from an old vice president who I admire and respect above most, guy named Pete Lively, great guy, taught me a lot. And he used the word tuition. And he said, you're going to pay to learn what you don't know. So we would try a new vendor, whether it was a flyer or a pamphlet or a digital outlet, anything we would try, he would give him a little bit of time, a little bit of money. And if it didn't work, he'd say, well, we learned, so that was our tuition. And I love that word. And we paid a lot of tuition. We tried a lot of different things. Sometimes we tried it, didn't work. We'd give it a while and wait and see the progression of the product and try it again. And I love that, the availability of trying. But what's most important that has changed is targeting and trackability. We had billboards, we had TV, we had newspapers, we had the little auto trader booklets, the paper booklets. And it was really, really hard unless they walked in and handed you the page to really track. It's almost impossible to track what came from TV, what came from newspaper, unless it was, you have to bring this in. And now with digital, we have this amazing ability on Facebook to find everybody in my backyard and here in Winston-Salem. I can go 50 miles out from my house right now and find everyone on Facebook who's currently in the market for a car, used car, new car, truck, van, SUV, and specifically that they want a Toyota or that they want a Chevrolet. And that just blows my mind.
Yeah.
Imagine what I could have done back in the day had I been able to target people. And instead of blasting out a message on TV to whoever's in the room not paying attention, I can put the message, pinpoint it and drop it directly to the person who needs to hear it at the moment that they're making a decision. And it costs so much less.
I know.
That's the most beautiful part that blows my mind is TV and print and radio is so expensive. And it's like a shotgun blast.
Still,
and we have a sniper rifle to get your buyer or your in-market shopper directly in the forehead, and it costs less. How is that possible? I don't know, but it's exciting.
The crazy part is that it's still, knowing how effective digital avenues are, billboards and newspapers still are that expensive, which baffles my mind. But you brought up a good point about reporting. And Erika, you and I were talking about this earlier. How do you feel that reporting has evolved? Because for a while, when I was on the dealership side, anytime a vendor would bring up what I deemed as excuses as to how we shouldn't be evaluating their product that way, I would fight back. But towards the end, I started understanding, towards the end of my career on that side, I started understanding it a little bit better. But maybe we can help break it down. It's not necessarily about them coming up with excuses. Some always will. But the way we evaluate each source should be unique to that source. And it's not always how many clicks to the website. Maybe that's a really bad evaluation. So maybe talk about that a little bit. Just reporting in general, how it's changed.
With like social and even sometimes with search, it is kind of a pay to play, and there's a lot of value in not just the clicks to the website, but also in the exposure, because it can take someone 5 to 6 times of seeing your ad before they actually take any action, sometimes even to remember it. So that exposure is very, very important. And, being able to evaluate that, see the numbers, see where that's coming from, and then seeing where, when does it actually lead to a click and where it directs to, is very, very important. And dealers need to understand that some of those smaller actions can lead to bigger events down the road, and that they need to, I hate to say, like, microscopically analyze every piece of data, but they have to understand what some of these analytics or metrics are telling them, and they have to be able to kind of compare, like, okay, TV is a lot of just exposure, but is there a way to kind of say, maybe we can lead them to a direct landing page, go to XYZ landing page and talk, that has the promotion that's on TV. With Facebook, we can directly plant them wherever we want them to go on your website. The same with PPC. So, maybe instead of just saying, hey, let's just blanket attack everybody with the same message and put them on the same place in their website, let's be strategic. Let's actually put them on a, landing page. Let's use some UTM codes. If your vendors aren't bringing that to you and talking about, let's do some trackability, then you need to have that conversation of, well, is what you're doing legit, or is it something that we need to have a further conversation of maybe adding in that trackability and tracking it ourselves? Because if your vendors aren't coming to you with that kind of reporting, then you need to take that initiative and do it yourself.
Right. So there are the two sides, right? You should not always just take it as an excuse. Identify for that source what the real evaluation that it's working is, because if most of the time when vendors are making those claims, it's because there's a real valid reason for it. Not every single source you want to make sure they're just clicking in. Maybe it's further than that. How much time are they spending on the site? If you're getting one source that's providing, 5,000 clicks to your website, but people are bouncing right off, spending no time at all, doing absolutely nothing after that point, then is that really worth it? Whereas you're spending for another source that's sending you 100 clicks, but those are actionable clicks that are submitting leads and spending for 3-4 minutes on there, and they're not bouncing off right away. So being able to define for yourself, that's something quite new to marketing that's going to help you make better decisions.
Hey, Subi, can I talk about landing pages before we leave this topic?
Oh, yes,
I know
please.
It's a little bit of a left turn, but it's so, you asked us earlier if we had a microphone and we could tell dealers what we wanted to tell them. It took me a minute. I'm like, I have a lot in my head, but I don't know what the most important is. High up on that list, I'm so glad, Erika, that you just said the word landing pages, because I spend a lot of energy trying to educate our clients and my friends in the industry about the importance of landing pages. It doesn't have to be, I think people might have this idea that it's more work than it's worth, or that it's super hard to do. There are wrong and right ways to do it, but it's vitally important, because I kind of put it into a real world scenario where you have your brick and mortar store, your inventory's out front, your driveway's right here, and someone drives onto your dealership lot and they want to look at Tundras. And they drive over to the Tundras and they're standing there, or they drive onto your lot and they see all the cars. There's used cars up front because they're what you're pushing, and there's new cars in rows. Some of them are making sense, some of them don't, how they're set out. And they might find the Tundras on their own, or they might kind of get lost, wander around, get to a dead end, stop, reverse, start mumbling under their breath. My dad used to drive to car dealerships for fun. We weren't even in the market. We just drive around for fun. So that's probably how I ended up here. But they might get lost. They might find what they're looking for. Say they do find what they're looking for. The cars are locked. There's MSRP sticker on the window, which is probably not what you're selling that vehicle for at that time.
Right.
They can see the mechanical listings, but there's no one there to give them a walk around. It makes a lot more sense for them to be greeted. We can all agree, I believe, that the dealer staff should greet a guest warmly and quickly when they come onto your lot, and provide them a little bit of assistance finding their way around. Introduce them to the dealership, introduce them to the personality of the dealer that they're meeting, or the salesperson that they're meeting, and say, here's where the Tundras are. And that might be the extent. They might say, thanks, bye. Or they might say, hey, can you open this one up? I want to take a look inside. And you're in there and you're starting the sales process. Online, your website has replaced your showroom. People aren't going to come to your showroom just to shop around as much anymore. I think it's like 1.4 dealerships that the shopper visits nowadays, which is amazing to me.
It's 1.2 now.
Yeah, it keeps going down. Yeah. So you get one shot. And if you don't sell them, that next one they go to is going to have the deal. The landing page is the equivalent of the friendly salesperson who's on the point out front, waiting for the car to drive in. Some of them are like ready to put your car into park for you and jump on your car and pull you out. Our landing pages are more the friendly one that waves hello, stands politely by the side of the road while you get out of your car and says, welcome to my dealership. We don't have a name because it's a page, but it introduces you to the idea and the concept of the dealership, what the dealer is all about, a little about us, a little why buy. I mean, just like one little paragraph of a why buy, who we are, more information about what they came to talk about, which is the individual vehicle, in this case, a Tundra. So that first paragraph, why buy from us? Here's who we are. Here's what the Tundra, and you're just validating that, in fact, the Tundra is a good choice.
Right.
They went out on the internet, found something about a Tundra, whether it was your ad or something else, and they followed the path and landed on your turf, on your showroom. Just confirm for them that, in fact, the Tundra is a great truck. You're smart to be looking at it. Here's a picture of it. Here's a video of it. Here's why you should buy it from us. Here's our phone number, our address, and a little button clicky form that you can get more information if you're still into that sort of thing. That's so much more friendly than, oh, I'm interested in a Tundra. Ooh, this dealer's got a great ad. Click on it, and they land on a homepage. And there's an advertisement for potentially an off-brand, or it is a Toyota store, and it's for a Corolla. Or whatever you have on your homepage that doesn't speak directly to their intention was to look at Tundras.
Yeah. I think sometimes we get so caught up in the latest and greatest technology and having the entire website change based on their behavior patterns. And that's all great, but the basics is delivering them. I say it all the time, and this is something we're all on the same page about. If you do not put the energy, whether it be having a partner or doing it yourself, to humanize your website, and it just looks like everybody else, when they're searching 5, 6, 7 dealerships, you're just another number. So they're submitting this lead and you get angry that they're shopping you. But would they really be shopping you if you gave them a reason to just talk to you and give you the opportunity to sell them? It's I don't know if this is different for you guys, but the customers that I work with that I notice have a human element to them seem to be outperforming everybody else easily. And I have a theory about that. I think the walls come down when you start the sales process in that digital avenue rather than waiting for them to come in and shake your hand and start the sales process then. They already get to know you and do their research. People like research a lot, right? We never buy like the first flight ticket or hotel that we see, or even clothes or shoes or anything, unless we have done our research and we're convinced about that brand. Why wouldn't we be doing the same thing? You know? And the terms, I think, just to kind of keep the conversation going, the terms of what these digital marketing or marketing in general, the terms are, mean something different. They have a different connotation in automotive. We kind of take a certain understanding of it and we run with it, and it replaces the true meaning of that term. For example, if we're talking about SEO, if we're talking about a landing pages specifically, people think it's like the old school microsite, or it takes all this time and energy. It's just simply being real and delivering the customer what they want to see. So what else do you feel like has maybe a different understanding in automotive, and we need to get back to the roots of what it means? Anything come to mind?
When you just said the word, the people who look for the flight ticket or look for the hotel, and you want to see the cheapest one, but you also you're never going to just click the cheapest one, because what is the immediate idea in your head? Why is it so cheap?
Yeah. What's the catch?
It's probably not the best airline or the best hotel.
Frontier.
It's never going to be. Yeah. So to extrapolate from that experience, if you're shopping for the hotel or the shoes or the dress or finding a new hairstylist or whatever you're doing online, which is traumatic, by the way, when you have the same girl for 10 years and you move to a new state, you got to find someone new you trust to do this.
I just went through that.
Terrifying. I don't trust lowest price, and I don't trust them telling me about themselves how great they are. So if it's this hotel that says they're great and their pictures are beautiful, what is the first thing we're going to do? We're going to go find a review site and read what real other people said that don't work there.
Yeah.
And a dealer has got to do the same. Because if I go to your website or I'm told by someone that you're great, I'm going to verify in multiple places. I'm going to look primarily on Facebook, because that's where I do all of my life. I'm going to go to your Facebook page. I'm going to look at your front of your page, and this could be for any product, and we're thinking of it in automotive terms, but any product that you're considering buying, especially a high dollar one, looking, what do you guys post about? What is your vibe?
Yeah.
Great.
Who are you?
Go to post to page. What are people saying to you? Are people saying, you're great, I love you, thanks for sponsoring our cookie bake sale, thanks for donating cars to the Wounded Warrior Project, whoa, all the feels, I'm loving this?
Yeah.
Go to the review. What are people saying directly about? Not to the dealer, but about the dealer. Review is not usually a one-on-one conversation. It's usually a rant session, good or bad. And it's to you and to you, not to the dealer. And it's more compelling than any television commercial or digital ad or anything the dealer could do in their own name for their own sake. You've got to be on top of reputation on your Facebook page. Everywhere is important, but nowhere is more important than on your own Facebook page where everybody is looking.
Yeah.
Those reviews, if they're good, great.
Yeah.
Like them, comment, thank them for taking the time, because people don't typically take the time to say good things. They take the time to complain. If it's bad, don't let it ride. Don't let it sit there and fester. Even if you can't solve the problem or resolve the concern of the person who left the review, you have to appease the onlookers.
Right.
You have to let people that are scrolling by considering your dealership understand. We all know that people make mistakes. It happens every single day. Some are little tiny, some are great big, and you've got to work through them. Saying, I'm sorry, I messed up. As a dealership, we apologize. We feel terrible. Or just say, look, we want to discuss it further. Some level of reaching out that if you might think there's guy's never going to feel better about us. It's not about him specifically.
Exactly.
It's about the 10 other people that month that might come check reviews and see that there's nothing there. So you've made someone angry and you didn't take the time to acknowledge that they were angry. I might just immediately decide that's not where I want to shop.
Or if you're really unlucky and people start sharing it, it's not just 10 people anymore. It could be your entire community that gets to see this seemingly small mistake that somebody made and make it into this gigantic thing. We've seen, in the last year, we've seen 3 or 4 companies, not dealership related, well, maybe dealership related, but 3 or 4 companies make these small mistakes and then have to shut their doors because the whole country that has nothing to do with this tiny little town somewhere, and yet people get emotionally attached to the experiences of others, which, and
connectivity makes us all feel that it happened to us.
Right.
So, if you went into a shop, physically went in somewhere and somebody was less than pleasant to you, you'd be like, okay, whatever, move along.
Yeah.
You might tell your friends. If you're having an encounter online or where people can document it, and that picks up, it lives forever. It can live forever. And now you made that person a little bit angry and they show their 6 friends and they're like, oh, girl, you need to tell him about himself.
Yeah.
She puts it on her page, and her page, we're going to help you tell these bad people how bad they are. And you find yourself in a big storm. You have to come out quick and effective and say, I messed up. We messed up. Somebody messed up, but we take credit for their mess up. And people, as much as they love to complain about some wrongdoing that happened, they love a good apology and a good comeback story. Yeah, they screwed up big time, but did you see that great apology video that they released where they were very sincere and they addressed exactly what happened and they talked about making it right and learning from it? I would like to think, we will never make a mistake as our company that we're perfect, but I know that if we did, just like if it's a little day-to-day mistake, the first thing you got to do is take responsibility. I am sorry. We are sorry. Here's how we plan to make it better. If we can't make it better, we're going to learn from it, and we're going to take it as a great tool to train everyone in our corporation. That you got to stand up and say the right things.
I want to talk about that real quick. We have to conclude pretty quickly, but like I said, we could talk forever about marketing stuff.
Yeah, forever.
But the number of dealers specifically that get so emotionally invested into these negative experiences and find it so hard to apologize or to assume responsibility, even if it's not something huge, at the end of the day, it's about the end user. It's about their experience and what they're going to tell people. Pointing out their errors and their mistakes, and you didn't even buy a car from us, it's because your girlfriend used to work here. All those things don't matter. It makes you sound petty. Yes. Your relationship with that person, it doesn't matter. It's not personal. Just think about all the hundreds of people that could see that and extrapolate from it who you are. And that's really what it comes down to. Sometimes you got to apologize for things that you don't do. Sometimes you have to assume responsibility, and you even have to sometimes make up for it in ways that you don't want to. But it's not about, don't get personally invested. Just apologize, do it, move on. Bigger person, because you're representing an entire company.
Yeah, and if you find yourself in a position where you're getting one of those attacks, where you're getting piles and piles of negative reviews, you really do need to combat it by asking for positive reviews from the people who love you, the people who've shopped with you that are happy. Every dealer probably has a handful of people they know by name and face that visit their store, buy lots of cars, bring all their friends and families. It is perfectly okay to reach out to those people and say, hey, Bill, I know you love us. We love you too. Will you do me a favor? Will you go online to our Facebook page and leave us a little review about your experiences here? Bill's probably going to do it, and it pushes the negative down the page.
But at the same time, if you're seeing a lot, maybe you have to evaluate something.
No, we don't fix things. We cover them up. Obviously, we should fix the problems and stop getting the bad reviews.
But it's so crazy how many people just feel like we need to go out and get a bunch of positive reviews instead of fixing the problem. So do both. You know, it's not going to hurt you.
Then bury it.
Yeah. Like fix it and then bury it. Because Band-Aids are Band-Aids. They wear off, especially if you're in a pool, you know. But, okay. So, I can't believe the time went so quickly. There's so much more to talk about. I think our next episode we're going to be talking about when you guys are with me next, just marketing effectively, feminism, a lot of things that go with that. I'm not sure which one of us would be talking about that, Christine. But even just hitting on traditional marketing, what we think, I mean, I'll be the first person to say that I fought newspaper and then did a little study in my dealership and found out that I was wrong. So even just testing, there's so much more to talk about with marketing that are basics that also tie into more advanced concepts. So if you have questions about marketing topics, what would you do scenarios for these lovely ladies or myself, send them over to me. My email address is subi@dealerauthority.com. That's SUBI@dealerauthority.com. Erika is at Erika, ERIKA, @dealerauthority.com, and Christine is Christine @dealerauthority.com. We're very creative with our email address. But feel free to let us know, ask us questions, send us, thoughts, comments, because this is a conversation we want to keep going. I believe in educating people about marketing because I think we think it's something, especially if it's one of the 100 rules that you have. You kind of learn as best as you can on the surface and keep going. But there's so much more to it that'll make you effectively sell more and be better and have a better brand. So, again, thank you guys so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
Outside of those email addresses, how are ways that people can contact you if they have any questions or follow you?
Smoke signals, carrier pigeon, just yell my name real loud and spin in a circle. My phone, you can reach me by phone. I have it on me all the time. You want me to tell my number?
Sure.
You want to put it on the screen? Do you have the technology? 757-617-6675. One more time, 757-617-6675. And my email, I check that 1,000 times a day. So either of those, you'll get me.
Okay. Erica?
And mine is 919-600-8367. That's 919-600-8367.
All right. Well, now you have all of our numbers, and don't call me late at night when I am sleeping. But other than that, I will respond to you as quickly as I can. To follow me, it's at AskSubi or at Subi101 on Twitter, or you can search my name on Facebook. Follow me there. We'll be posting those videos on Ask Subi and on our YouTube channel. So thank you so much for joining. If you have any new topics, questions, comments that you want to have addressed on the show or people that you want me to interview, let me know. Thanks again for joining, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.